All verse rising. My soul family, all verse rising. Now, my soul family, have you noticed that a lot of the ignorant, uneducated, melanated people who grew up in the southern states of USA their whole entire life, those ignorant, uneducated, melanated people who grew up in the southern states of USA, especially in Louisiana, they literally look at melanated people who grew up in the eastern states and the western states of USA as white folks, just because the melanated people that grew up in the western states and the eastern states of USA don't sound like the melanated people in the southern states. So all of a sudden, these melanated people who grew up in the eastern and western states of USA are qualified to talk like these so-called white folks, just because melanated folks out in the eastern and western states have a different accent. That don't make no sense, do it? That don't make no sense, man. Because let me tell you something, man. Bro, I got teased before just because my accent was way different from a lot of melanated people's accent in the southern states of USA. And what these uneducated, indoctrinated, whitewashed, melanated people who grew up in the South their whole entire life don't comprehend is this English language was founded by European white folks. So anyone that's speaking English is gonna sound like a European when we speak in English, right? So what difference do it make? What difference do it make? It's just like if a European individual, it's just like if a so-called European white person starts speaking Trinidad or Haitian or Jamaican or any African or Caribbean nationality language. They're gonna start sounding like a melanated person now, would they? Just to be fair. So a lot of these uneducated, melanated skinned people who grew up in the southern states that be teasing a lot of these melanated people who grew up in the eastern states like New Jersey, Rhode Island, Massachusetts, New York, Vermont, Maine. Man, bro, these melanated people who grew up in Maine, Vermont, New Hampshire, Massachusetts, New York, they get teased for sounding white to these uneducated, melanated people who grew up in the southern states of USA. It's crazy. It's crazy, man. Like, what are we doing here? What are we doing here? Like, come on. If anything, man, I just shake my head at the whitewashed, indoctrinated, uneducation that a lot of melanated people who grew up in the South have failed to comprehend, man. It's sad. It's sad. It's sad for real. Sad for real, man. You know, what more could you say? What more could you say on it, man? What more could you say on it, man? This ain't right. This not right, man. Like, I got teased before. For having a different accent from a lot of melanated people who grew up in the southern states their whole entire life down south. That's sad. You know, that's sad. Because check this out, yo. Check this out. If I was to speak Trinidad or Caribbean or African languages to uneducated, melanated people in the southern states, they're gonna think I'm talking white just because I'm speaking in an African or a Caribbean language. Come on now. Now, if I said some stuff like Kunasho Kimishe Hariu Sakudo Shimitayu, I'm gonna sound like a whole fucking lame to a lot of ignorant ass melanated people down south. You know? So what we doing here, yo?